time than my son Jack gets to set up a simple camera.
Don't say anything because
Tell him to be
that's
quiet. Tell John to be quiet.
Be quiet.
right.
It's because this newfangled thing is still new.
It's a new thing that she's working on. That's
go.
Larry's.
Maybe you ought to plug it in. There, oh.
You mean where the line went?
Yay.
Is that necessary?
Yes.
Where's your bright light, Larry?
I don't have one.
Oh, okay. Just asking.
Okay, I can get 4 of them, and I'm just gonna have to wiggle back and forth. Panning. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
You need it right. You need it right so they show up. Got something new, Judy?
Yeah.
Tell you, what was it? Well, remember when you were just a little shaver? We used to go fishing. What was that place that you used to go fishing?
Bass Lake.
Huh? Well, you went by yourself from home.
Oh, that was
Creek, are you ready?
Yeah.
Beaver.
We are ready. Beaver Creek? Wasn't it near Sinnissippi Park?
Catawba Creek. Catawba Creek.
How?
Catawba Creek.
Is that where you were?
Which one?
Catawba. It's north of.
You're not making it, Larry.
Peak Creek, isn't it?
They call it Heath now, but it's Catawba.
You used to go up there fishing all by yourself.
Catch minnows.
Minnows.
Pick up.
You don't remember that? You haven't got the tape going yet, have you?
I have them.
Are we supposed to be reminiscing now?
Now we're on.
Now?
We're on a roll?
On a roll.
On a roll. All right, your turn.
Go for it.
Your turn.
Larry's not
You
ready.
got yours all written down. so
Oh,
you know
okay,
it.
that's one thing is written
That's
down.
all right.
They're part of yours.
Yeah, well, I'll break in.
All right, you break in.
I'll start.
So you're gonna break wind?
Daddy said he'd break. Yeah, I'll break one.
All right. I
Well,
should,
do you remember when we were kids, we used to set tin cans full of water on each side of the sidewalk with the strings attached to them. And then somebody comes walking along in the dark and they trip if the string was such that they didn't trip and fall on it, but these cans spilled onto their feet, and we were standing off behind a tree or something, laughing like the dickens.
yeah, I remember that.
Remember that one?
Boy, we were
I did
fishing
that
kids.
too.
We did it down
Especially that one down on the corner
by
there.
showers.
Yeah. That was funny.
But what you don't know is our experience around the fall, the sparrows would perch up in the corner of the porch to keep out of the wind. she almost flipped her lid when she saw me in the car. She wouldn't get in the car at first, but finally she did. And finally I took her home.
Well, how old were you?
I was about 14.
Oh, how
And,
was Dad all this time?
A brand new car.
Dad was working. And he didn't know that Johnny was trying out the car either.
Oh, no, heavens no. He'd have taken a 2x4 to me if he had.
But didn't you guys take the cars at night when you didn't know it?
Kenny and I used to do that.
Kenny and Carl,
Kenny and I, yeah.
they used to do
They'd
that.
go to bed and then we'd go out into the garage.
That's right.
No
They did
lights
that.
on.
They did the same thing when they were up in Minnesota visiting me. They pushed the car out of the garage and then started out on the street. Didn't you?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you do.
Well, only one thing I remember about Northfield, Minnesota, that's Judy, so,
No, that was Mankato.
oh, Mankato.
I remember that.
No
Enough
fair
said.
picking on the photographer.
Enough said.
Enough said.
Well, talking about that swiping that car at night, somehow or another, Pa left the keys on a little corner shelf. He always left them there. So like they say, after they went to bed, I went and got the keys, backed the car out of the garage, and one time, I drove all the way to Belvedere with Jim somebody. Shh, let's have a little order here when I'm talking.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, I took the car and picked up Jim, whatever his name was, and we drove to Belvedere for swimming. They had a swimming, not a swimming beach, but a swimming pool, swimming hole. And while we were there, they had a cloudburst, and it was flooded across Charles Street. So we drove from Belvedere to the flood point. We couldn't get across, so I turned back to Belvedere and went out another road and wound up in Rockton. And the muddy roads that we went through, that car was just mud splattered from beginning to end. So I stopped at a Grin's gas station at about 1 o'clock in the morning and washed the car with the hoses that they use for filling the water. Boy, if Pa had woke up and saw that car was gone, or even inspected it thoroughly in the morning, he'd have disowned me. He'd have kicked me out.
You sweat all night. You didn't sleep at all that night.
No, I didn't. But boy, when I think about that, how foolish that was. The trouble I could have gotten into.
Yeah, right.
But I've been living a charmed life all my life, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing I got to tell you about that you didn't know, that I'm sitting here telling this story. I'm sitting here telling this story because by the grace of a boat hook that saved my life. Mom used to belong to an aid society or something, and they used to go out and have picnics up at Hononegah Park or Illinois Park. Well, I went with Mother and the ladies up to the park, and they went on one of these little cruise boats, not the big city of Rockford or the Illinois Steamer, but these little boats that hold about 20 people. And we went up to, I think it was Illinois Park, and they had a picnic there. And while they were having a picnic, I got into my swimming suit and was going to swim in the river, which I did. I got in at the back end of the boat and started swimming around the boat, but when I got halfway up the length of the boat, I got tuckered out and started to sink. And it started to holler, and one of the guys on the crew of the boat happened to hear me, and he tried to reach down and get me, but he was so high above the boat that he couldn't reach me, so he got a boat hook and hooked me behind the back of the swimming suit and led me up to the front of the boat and into the shore. So there, by the grace of a boat hook, I'm still here to tell you the story.
Mom didn't know it?
Mom didn't know a thing about it.
I didn't know that either.
And then I remember,
Geez, he's windy.
well, I'm prepared.
Yeah, good, that's good, John.
I'm setting an
So am
example.
I.
A further indication that I was a mean little kid. You know, Pa was so strict about coming in at night, and he said, well, now you'll be in at 10 o'clock for sure, he says, or the doors will be locked. Well, I got up chasing the girls or something and didn't get in till 11 o'clock or so, and the door was locked, so I snuck around, and there was a basement window open. So I opened the basement window, somehow I got it open, maybe it preordained or prearranged. But anyway, I got in through the bathroom window, or basement window, and walked up the stairs and opened the door, and there stood Pa. And he said, well, he says, now that you got up, you got in here, he said, now you go back out that window and come around the way you should. So I had to go back through that window, come out and come around and back.
I don't remember that.
And then,
I didn't
well,
know
it was
about
11
that.
o'clock at night here. And I thought I was gonna get it irritating, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but he didn't say a thing.
I was only down there, you didn't get it. Well.
So Pa was a gruff old boy, but he was fair-hearted.
Yeah.
We can be thankful that we had father and mother that we had. They didn't give us all the luxuries of life, but we never were hungry,
Never wanted for
and we were never without clothes
clothes.
for the season.
Right.
But we didn't have all the niceties of life. And mother, bless her soul, she walked from Franklin the dentist on Wyman and State with all her teeth pulled without anesthesia, and walked all the way home to Greenwood Avenue. Now that is something.
was that about?
Oh, miles.
Nobody knows how many blocks that was.
Now this is from Wyman and State
It's
to
gotta be about,
3,
but 2 miles to Hess
2
Brothers.
miles,
It's about 3 miles.
About 3 miles.
She walked 3 miles
that's right.
after having all that spit and blood out every step of the way, probably.
She had,
She
she
just
had
talked about it.
high pain tolerances,
Yeah.
like when she broke her leg.
Like when she
Yeah.
broke her leg. Oh, that was awful. I was the first one down.
No, I was.
No, you were. I called you. I heard her downstairs.
Yeah, I was there too.
Yeah. That was bad.
Do you have any more, Jeff?
That's all I have. I don't
Pretty
wanna
good.
I don't wanna ruin all the tape.
That's pretty good. Now, what is it, 90 minutes?
90 minutes, yeah.
Your turn. You're the oldest.
We had 2 hours if you needed. Huh?
Or Ella?
Hmm?
What did you do?
Not very much. I can't remember.
What, want me to
Huh?
pipe in?
Huh?
Want me to pipe in?
Yeah, you go ahead.
I can remember Saturday, Mom used to bake bread
Bread.
and coffee cakes in those big cinnamon buns with sugar on the top. That's on Saturday. I can remember, I got a hold of a big slice of bread. Roy Johnson was next door at his grandpa's, and we decided to go for a walk. So we walked and we dropped breadcrumbs as we walked along down Greenwood to Longwood, Longwood to State, and State down as far as Freeman School used to be.
You had a lot of crumbs, huh?
We had big hunks of bread. But when we turned around to go back, we couldn't find our way because the birds had eaten all the bread all the way down to Freeman School. So we didn't know what to do. We were standing there, and I guess they had the cops out for us. And then Harry Johnson came along, Roy's dad. He had his old Harley Davidson with a sidecar,
Yeah.
and we got into the old sidecar, and he took us home. I must have been about 6 years old.
I think,
I think Roy
I
was,
think you walked off from Auntie Hilda's one time too and
that I don't remember.
got down there by the school and they had to have the cops out for you then. And what was the name of that policeman that was?
Showalter.
Folky
No,
Bankston.
yeah.
Bankston.
Wait a
Found
minute,
you.
was it Folky Bankston?
Yeah. Wasn't that
He
his
was the
name?
chief, you know.
Yeah. Well, not at that time.
No, not at that time.
Yeah.
There was a famous motorcycle cop called Showalter.
Showalter, yeah.
He was
He wore those great big driving gloves way up to here, the
Yeah.
handlebars up here, and great big boots way up here,
Yeah.
or the chaps, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kids were scared to death of him. They'd send him with Showalter to go around the schools, and the kids were scared to death of him. running night.
But he was real fair with the kids.
You remember when, you rode,
Tell
when you were about 2 years old, John?
Yeah.
And you were on your little tricycle and you went off the sidewalk, the dories, and you come out and pull your ear so bad it was red and swollen for a
Yeah.
long time? Mom was so mad.
Yeah.
They were ready to kill him.
Never talked to her since.
Wonderful neighbors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Remember our apple tree that,
that's right.
Yeah, all the
That's right.
problems we had with the apple tree.
That's right.
it would, one year it would have apples on our side, and the next year it'd have apples on their side, and they wouldn't let us go over to get our apples.
You
They
get
were
over in your own
terrible.
yard.
They were awful neighbors.
Mm.
The old folks and the young folks. Both of them.
The old folks weren't as bad as the young ones, I don't think.
Well, the old folks lived on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it.
Earl Gordy lived on this side,
Yeah.
next to us.
Remember when Dad always used to make us go out and potato patch and pick up potato bugs off of the bushes?
Yeah.
You remember
I
that?
didn't have,
Yes, I
I
remember.
didn't have to do that.
Well, you people all criticize me for not liking
Do you
vegetables,
remember that, yeah?
Yeah.
but if you had been on your hands and knees in the garden,
Oh, I used to hate that.
if you'd been on your hands and knees in the garden weeding at night in our garden out and back while the other kids were out playing baseball on the street,
Oh, yeah.
you'd realize why we would make resolutions never to eat any of the beans or the peas
We
or
did it,
stuff like that.
we did weeding too, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to work at Anderson's garden across the way there.
Yeah.
Half a block long, you get a nickel a roll for picking the weeds.
Yeah. What about
How about
cherries?
the cherries?
How about
Oh,
cherries?
cherries up at,
Lynn's.
Yeah.
Lynn's.
Yeah, 2 cents a box.
2 cents a box. Boy, you up in that tree all day long picking cherries. That was something.
I got 3 cents a box because I picked them off the top.
Oh, did you?
And then I helped the old man lead the horse for cultivating too. They had one
Old
way,
man Anderson.
old man Lynn.
Oh, Lynn.
I made 10 cents an hour there, just leading the horse.
Yeah, you used to go to Lynn's and pick cherries for, how much was it for a box? 2 cents a box?
I got 3.
You got 3. I never did that. We always had cherries to pick at home. Jody always got up in the cherry tree and broke her arm or shoulder. I don't know how many times.
Well,
She used to go to.
yeah, and then
we
not
had
only that, we have a cherry tree at home,
Yeah.
and we had an apple tree, and it was up to me to peel all those apples for Mom when she was canning. And then it was peaches, and it was pears, and I peeled apples until I thought I was gonna, when my hands were all brown, and I didn't
And
think
we
I was
had
gonna,
apple-
she bought one basket after another.
And we had applesauce and apple pie until it was coming out of our ears.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't it
Nobody can make an apple pie like Mom.
Wasn't it good?
Yeah, it was
Can,
good.
can you all remember the same meal we'd have on Sunday, every Sunday weekend? Jello, rice pudding, and whatever,
Oh, white
pork chops.
cake with white frosting.
Cranberries, we have rice.
Cranberries.
Yeah.
And Aunt Hilda was always with us for dinner on Sunday.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
Oh, wait.
Mom used to just, they'd go to church, you know, so, well, that was, she was alone, you know.
Yeah.
Every Sunday, Aunt Hilda was with us for dinner, every Sunday.
I didn't remember that.
Don't you remember that? Oh, yeah.
You
remember when we
know
had
who
chicken
else
coop?
was too?
Yes,
Laverne.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Oh, I used to get so disgusted, 'cause, you know, there were 6 of us, 7, 8 of us all together.
Yeah.
There was 9. Love was there.
Yeah, Laverne was.
9 of us. Laverne was
For
there.
10 years, Love was there for dinner on Sunday night.
Do you remember the dollar
I
off your
dropped my fork and he got all of the rice pudding.
Chased her all up to Benton Street, front of school.
You chased me up there. I wanted the dollar for something at work. I was gonna walk all the way up
You were gonna get it.
I was gonna walk all the way up to State Street to take a streetcar to Ben Franklin or wherever I was working at the time. Cause I quit school when I was 16, took a job at, not Ben Franklin, Woolworth's.
Dime store.
Yeah. And I needed $1 for something. And I asked her if I could borrow it to pay, or back and pay. No, she wouldn't let me yet. So when she went out in the kitchen or wherever, was getting ready, then I went in her purse and got the $1. Got out the front door and must have got a half a block and she looked in her purse, I guess, found I missed it. She come after me and she caught me, almost 2 blocks away. And somebody's front yard.
Yeah.
And that's where we were wrestling, in the front yard. She got the dollar away from me. But I had green grass stains all over me, you know?
Yeah. She didn't wear only one belt. Dodie wound up with 2 or 3 belts
I
right around her
agree,
hips
yeah.
here.
That's right.
Never one belt.
The teacher didn't ask me who they belonged to.
I did, I braided 3 or 4 of them together,
But,
didn't I, or more?
but the thing that I got a kick out of was when you borrowed her white jodhpur,
Oh,
right
yeah,
breeches.
That's right. I had it figured out pretty good, though. I
Yeah,
go, when we
yeah.
get ready to go, I don't know whether you'd wait outside for
I'll
me
wait
or not,
outside
but just
for
you
you.
and I.
Yeah,
And I'd go out in the back, and there was a little closet like the change.
off
I
of the
changed
back
there.
porch, off of the back
I
porch.
changed there, put her over jodhpurs were fancy. Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
white, all white.
Yeah, all white, you know. And I put them on and go out the back door, and then we'd go ice skating. She never knew it until I kept doing it about 3 or 4 times, and I forgot one time. I walked right in the front
Walk
door.
right
there she
through it, and
was.
here was Mommy sitting at the table.
She was in the morning.
I sure got it from my dad. Did she ever? I think he lined me up against the wall, you know, and his fist come pretty close, you know. Don't ever do that again, you know.
Well, he was good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He's the one that lined me up more than any of you, I think.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you deserved it, Dodie.
I used to just shiver when Dad got mad.
Yeah, I know.
No respect, but one time he hit Nani, we were sitting inside the kitchen door, right by the, we had the table in
Yeah.
front of the kitchen window, and then the door, and then there was a chair there before you went out the door. You'd done something. I don't know if you got into somebody's swing patch or something. And I don't know whether you were involved in it or not, but Dad gave you a blow to the side of your head. I thought I was just ready to die.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I guess if it hadn't been for Mom, we would have gotten a lot more.
Well, look at all the spankings I got with the cherry tree switches.
Yeah.
And you take me in the bathroom and switch me till the urine run down my legs, and I'd be crying, and John and the rest of them be outside the door crying right along with me.
I was a good one, though. I never got spanked.
I didn't either,
Boy, I sure did.
Well,
I sure got it.
Yeah, Mom looked like
You were,
her best.
you were Mom's pet, Colleen.
Yeah, you were, Carl. You were the best.
Hanging up on me now.
you'd get that Cleveland or that, what was it?
Chandler.
Chandler anytime you wanted it. If I wanted a heavy date to go to a school dance or dinner dance or something like that, I had to ask for the car weeks in advance. And
That
then
one was a
sometimes,
spotlight through the windshield.
yeah,
That was classy.
Yeah, classy, right.
and a lot of times I couldn't keep a
It's
date.
always hard for us to get away with something like that, Dan, with this thing.
Oh, yeah.
Mom always took our part, see? I know, Viola Mora, her parents were pretty generous. And she always wanted to go to a show with me. The shows were 35 cents then. And I said to Mom, Viola and I want to go to a show tonight. Well, I don't know. She said, Dad, where's Margaret? See? So Mom would have the money and give it to me, and I would go to Morrison. And I said, where's Margaret? Well, she'd go over to Morrison. So Viola and I went to the show.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Mom, we would have had it tough.
Oh, yeah.
We had a tough with Mom.
Well, that's true, but it wouldn't have been worse, like Ellen said, it wouldn't have been worse.
Do you remember our suppers at home? We were 6 kids and 2 adults and a pound of round steak.
Yep.
And it was all fried up beautifully, deliciously. But the first piece was paws. And we got what was left.
That's right. We had a
We
split
got what
piece.
was left.
That's right. We had Pa got the first piece of meat, and the rest, whatever was left, we
Whatever
divided.
was left.
1 pound.
What?
1 pound of meat was all we ever had on our table.
Yeah.
And poor Mom had to wait on Dad's hand and foot. He'd sit there and he'd say, I want to
bugle, when you get to a certain neighborhood, you go, first fish today!
Yeah.
And then bugle.
Yeah.
Everybody come out,
Yeah.
and he had a scale, they throw a chunk of fish on there, you buy it, take it in the house.
Same with the scissor sharp.
Yeah.
Remember, summer,
Oh,
we
yeah.
had them
The
music.
knife sharpener?
Yeah, knife
That's
sharpener,
the thing.
scissors,
Yeah.
yeah. It made the round.
Oh, it's funny. What else have you got, Jody?
I got my list. We should tell how far we used to walk. How far would you say would be from our house to the lagoon?
Mile.
A mile?
Mile and a
We
half.
would walk in the coldest part of the winter
It was more than a mile,
to the
wasn't it?
Cinderella Lagoon,
Mile
about a
and a half.
mile, carrying our skates. And we'd get there, we'd put our skates on and skate for an hour. This was at night. And then, it's a wonder we didn't freeze our feet off because there was no warming house. And then when we got through, we had to walk all that way back. No ride, nothing. No warming house, no ride.
No.
Funny we didn't freeze our feet off.
And we used to sneak in and sneak the wine.
You got,
Oh, yeah, I got that written down.
Oh,
Okay, that goes next
We
after
used
the ice.
to bring our boyfriends in and
Remember,
have a
we
sip of wine.
come home from ice skating and we'd go tell Dad we were gonna go down and fix the furnace.
Yeah.
And we'd go downstairs and we got into the wine, the grape wine, got warmed up in a hurry.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that,
Yeah, but here's another one that I remember, I don't know if you either. We used to play upstairs, Dad had booze in that little closet in the front bedroom, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So, they had whiskey bottles in there.
Oh, I
when
didn't
you
know
got
that.
into it.
That was for medicinal purposes.
So we played hospital. We played hospital.
I don't
It was
remember
whiskey for medicine.
I don't remember that.
Do you remember that?
No.
I can remember when Cully sampled some wine left in the glasses,
All of them.
all of them, and he got a little bit drunk. You know, we had some kind of a party.
When I walked in the living room, I don't know who was there, but they had company, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
I walked in in the living room there, and they said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to bed." I was over by the basement door.
Yeah.
Instead of going through the living room and then and go upstairs, I was going to go down the basement. I remember that.
Dodie, why don't you tell us about skating on the river?
Oh, yeah.
Don't do it. Don't tell the kids about this.
Oh, no, okay, I won't. Shouldn't I, Judy? Sure.
No, I
Yeah,
mean,
they never would do that, kids don't do
I
that.
don't do that.
Mom and Dad
Right
didn't
now.
think we would either.
Mother never knew that I did this. What, you and I?
Yeah.
You and I, two boys, two
Yeah.
boyfriends.
Yeah.
We went to the lagoon, and somehow, didn't we go
Yeah.
there first? We had our shoes and everything. We
Yeah.
decided we'd go on the river, skate down to the State Theater, which was State Street Bridge, and
Change
take off our skates, put our shoes on, and I had bells on my skates.
Oh,
and
I did
everything.
too, those great big ones.
So they clang, clang, clang down the aisle, then we sat down, saw the show, and then went back and put our skates back on, skated all the way up. We could have fell through the ice and.
There were big black spots on the ice where it was open water.
Well, go
And
ahead.
it's at night.
Mom never knew what we were doing.
What?
But tell them what happened.
When I fell in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did fall in. This was in the daytime and I was with a boyfriend. And underneath Jefferson Street Bridge, I didn't realize it either, but I suppose warm water and everything comes in down there from the pipes. And we were skating and all of a sudden down I went under the ice. Not under, but
No.
yeah. I had real warm wool things on. I was really heavy pants and everything on. And I still don't know how he got me out of there. He pulled me out and I didn't break, which I was lucky. And he half carried me over to his mother's house, which was 2 blocks away. And we ran because I was freezing. And his mother put me in a hot tub and gave me some hot wine and told me to stay all night. They called my mother.
You were afraid to go home.
I was
Yeah.
scared of getting a licking, I'll tell you.
because
Her
her hands
fingers.
and her fingers were so painful.
Yeah.
And yet she's the same woman that walked from State and Weimar all the way home after having all her teeth extracted without anesthesia. But you know, she went to Dr. Erbum and for $2 for the treatment and for the sugar pills, she never had pain in her fingers after that. Now there is one of the great misfortunes of modern times is this Dr. Erbum had a cure for arthritis and it died with him.
And it's bad after she broke her foot, you know, her
Her
leg.
ankle.
She stand for hours in iron clothes.
Yeah.
All that ironing she built.
All you guys with your white
And
shirts.
she sewed for all of us.
Yeah, that's right, she sewed
that night.
But then you could buy a whole, every payday, I mean, I used to buy, when I worked at Woolworths, that was my first job, I worked in the woodworking department. You know when we weren't busy, what I had to do? Clean the toilets.
Oh,
Yes, I did. I had to clean the toilets when I wasn't busy.
oh,
Yeah. And when I get my paycheck, I buy a whole outfit for dress for $2.98.
Oh,
I
yeah.
buy the shoes and the hat and the purse, everything to go with.
yeah.
Especially those ankle straps.
Oh, yeah.
That Johnny likes.
Everybody likes them. John said I looked like an old street walker, yeah. So that was a polite name, he said.
Little spike heels like that.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they were pretty neat.
Well, I have a pair too.
Sure
I
you
thought
did.
they were great.
Remember when we used to go to the park to dance?
Yeah. Central Park?
Central Park?
Oh, boy, yeah, I spent a lot of time there.
I tell you, and we made our own dresses. Remember you had a green organdy and I had
Yeah.
a blue one,
Yeah.
long one? Yeah. They were really pretty classic. And sometimes we'd meet some fellas and come home with them.
Yeah.
I remember I walked from there, not to home to our house, but to Jeanette, remember her? That was another one that I go say. John never liked her.
Johnny never,
Hair, you know.
John never
Yeah.
liked her.
No. And we walked
Jeanette.
all the way to her house.
Doty's boyfriend, a girlfriend.
Remember
What was her
Jeanette?
last name?
No, I don't remember now. The first one was Jeanette.
Hey, you know, was it Jeanette Malone?
Malone.
That's
I was gonna say
I
Malone.
remember.
I was gonna say Malone too.
Who were we talking about?
There was one time we walked all the way to her house from Central Park.
Well,
We'd never
where
dared
did
do
she
that
live?
now. Oh, Myatt Avenue,
Oh.
wherever that was, a long ways away.
It was on the west side.
On the west
No,
side.
Maya is over where Central Park used to be.
Yeah, remember that? I sent Ellen a clipping that Central and Harlem Park,
Yeah, Inglaterra.
Terra, that's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Oh, that was a great one.
Well,
Boy.
your turn,
Had a lot of fun.
your turn.
Well, I've been talking
She's
about it all.
been telling all kinds of stuff. You've gotta tell some more, Carol.
Oh, let's see.
I think I've used up everything. Let's see.
Didn't we have chickens over at kids?
Yeah, we had
Chickens in the backyard?
You had doves too for a long time, didn't you? You had a bunch of
I had
doves.
pigeons.
Or pigeons, yeah,
Yeah.
pigeons. Yeah, I can remember Mom going out and getting the eggs out there in that old chicken coop.
I can remember Pa going out and killing a rooster and throwing it on the snow and that thing was flopping around. and
Yeah, I can remember
The
that
snow was
too.
all bloody from.
Ooh.
When he was gonna kill a turkey though, he made us all go back in the house. We'd look out that back door. I remember now that back door. One time you slammed your fist right through that door, or did I do it? I did.
Could be.
Or was it you? I don't remember.
Well, I
But
don't
no,
have that, I don't have that kind of temper.
I was on the inside, and you were on the outside. No, you were on the inside, and I was on the outside. You wouldn't let me in, I wanted to come in, so I put my fist right through the glass, and I caught it, I'll tell you, I got it from Dad. Well, you were back there just teasing the life out of me, you know.
Well, you.
Yeah, making fun
Probably
of me
because
because
you
I
had to
was
do the
locked
dishes.
out.
I mean, you didn't wind up with a bloody fist? either?
No, but
No?
pretty close, he lined me up against the molding.
No, but I mean,
the
when
wood.
you went through the glass.
Oh, no, I
No?
guess not, I don't remember, I
Oh.
probably
Just a
bruised it
quick
a little bit, but.
punch.
There was a curtain in it, so,
Oh,
that's prevented it.
I don't remember, but I come pretty close to getting a fist on my face and, yeah, it was tough. I guess it didn't hurt us any. Except I
But you
should have
know,
a blistered butt by
You
now.
talk about that, do you remember when we went up to Wisconsin when Mom died? And we went into the hospital? And your father sat on the edge of the bed and cried like a baby.
He did when he came home too.
He had home when he came home.
Yeah.
I think he felt, when Mom died and Dad come home, didn't he sit lots of time in a chair and cried?
He laid out on the back porch on the
Out-
bench and cried.
Out in the back porch, that's where I saw him.
Yeah.
I went out there.
Well, don't you suppose he kind of felt like it was part his fault, because Mom didn't want to go with him?
That's right.
She didn't,
She
she
didn't
Oh,
didn't,
yeah,
want to.
he knew that.
she didn't want to
She
go.
was under a doctor's care, and she
Yeah.
had that high blood pressure.
Wasn't that much fun for her when she'd go up there? It was just
That's right.
cooking and, you know,
Cook, that's all.
taking
He'd
care
go
of
out and
him.
fish.
That's all.
Huh?
And
He'd go out and fish.
Yeah,
But then he took her for a ride, and that's what started the whole ball of wax going.
yeah.
She got chilled out in the boat.
Oh, uh-huh.
Well, I went out when he wanted me to, Mom wanted me to go with him fishing one night, and,
Mom hated to go on those vacations.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Hated.
Yeah. Well, it's not, wasn't much fun. You get
Mark
up in a
hates to go
cottage.
with me on vacations, fishing vacations.
But he wanted me to go out with him, or Mom wanted me to go out with him one night and sit there in the dark and fish. I didn't fish, I just sat there. Just sat. I don't know how many hours. I tell you, I didn't go again. I said, nothing doing. I told Mom, I'm not going out there and sit in the dark.
Well, why don't we tell them about the picnic that went out to Cook's Farm in the
Oh,
Model T.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Eckstein's had a Model T, Uncle
Yeah.
Charlie,
Yeah, right.
and we had one.
Yeah,
Somebody ran over a pig.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Raymond.
And next time, Ray
Raymond.
Ray
And
Eckstein.
I was in the car in the back with Elsie and Auntie Seda, and Raymond and Uncle Charlie were up in front, and he saw the pig, but Uncle Charlie said, Joe, go ahead, just keep going, keep going. And he ran over the pig and it turned us in the ditch on the side.
I don't
And
remember where
Dad
I was.
was in the car ahead, but I guess he finally
turned
saw
back.
where we weren't following, you know. So we didn't get hurt. I bit my tongue, that was
Yeah.
all.
And then they righted the
Yeah.
Model
Turned the
T,
pig over.
turned it on and
Yeah.
took off.
They got the horses, didn't they? The
Yeah.
tractor or something? Yeah.
They didn't have tractors then in those
Yeah.
days.
Didn't they?
Horses.
All the horses, I guess.
Yeah, that was something.
Judy's probably getting tired of her.
Oh, then we used to, when we were kids, we always had the privilege of throwing the chunks of wood that Cook would bring in from the farm
Oh,
for our cooks, or for the stoves.
for the stove. Yeah.
And we'd have to throw them down the basement, remember?
And then we had to stack them.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had the privilege of splitting them up so they would go into the cook stove.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that too.
Every afternoon after school, I'd have to go down and split that wood.
Out of tape, yeah?
We have a question for you. We want to know if you can tell us anything about Grandma and Grandpa before you guys came, before you were born, when they were young.
The only one that would know would be Margaret. Do you know anything about Mom and Dad before we were born?
No,
I didn't know about that.
Dad
When they were
didn't say
young,
much
just when
about
they were young.
what happened with him,
Just
did he?
when Mom and Dad were young, or when they first came over to this country.
No, they both went and they stayed with Aunt Theta over,
Bye-bye.
bye,
Bye, everybody. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Bye.
I forget, just a block just west of, east of Kishwaukee, or,
4th Street, wasn't it?
not long of it. It's down, before you turn into, no, it's the Cloverleaf now, but it's a dead-end street by the Y. But
Oaks Avenue?
yeah,
Oaks Avenue? That's Knightsville.
no, well, it wasn't, no, this was down, it was north. It was in Mom's trunk says 900 North 2nd Street.
Oh, okay, okay.
And that's where Aunt Theta had
Oh.
she had a boarding house.
Oh.
So Mom stayed there and apparently Dad stayed there too, so that's how they met. That's
Oh.
that's all I know.
That's how they met each other? Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
When did they come over?
If you,
Yeah.
see if I got it in my Percy.
Oh.
I got it when she come over, how old she was on the boat.
She was 25 when she came over.
25?
25.
25
25th birthday on the boat.
on the boat. And I can remember that she said that she would never go across the water again. Never.
Dad wanted her to
She
go
didn't.
Norway with
She
it.
didn't either, no.
She had-
That trip must have
On
been
the boat.
terrible in those days.
Mom's birthday was,
I got it on the big one, but not here. I had it all written down, when she come over, how old she was, when she got
she had
married.
her 25th birthday on the boat.
Yeah, but I say, I had it written down when she was married and everything.
Mom was 8 years older than Pa.
Yeah. She came over in 1901.
You remember how mad she used to get when Dad would walk in the front and she'd be dragging along behind?
Yeah.
And they'd ask her, you know, was that
That's
her
right.
oldest son?
Yeah.
She'd get so mad.
She was hired out as a cook.
Very cautious.
For what, Mom?
Lead her, you know,
Upper
Mom was
maid,
training
downstairs
her.
maid.
Mayor Rue.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
Oh,
She said she had it, got it wrong,
Uh-huh.
and she corrected it.
No, I haven't corrected it yet.
No, she's gonna correct it.
I corrected
roasting.
mine, I was gonna tell her about it, but I
It's
don't know.
sweating through, huh?
Pouring off of me.
Yeah.
That was wrong,
Talk loud.
Okay.
You have to talk louder, Mark.
But they never talked much about when, we knew when they were married, but not where. They were married the 18th of October. Long north, long gown, veil, and but they had this dress suit at that time. And I don't remember if they had a reception or not. Don't know.
Where did they
And I
meet?
don't think they went on a wedding trip or anything. They just went back home.
Where did they meet?
Who was the best man?
I don't know.
Gus Yupstrom.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. And they met where? At Angie Saban's boarding
Who was
house?
the bridesmaid then? I never saw a wedding picture of them.
Oh, sure.
The two of them, that's all.
No, there was another one. There was another picture
I
of him.
don't remember seeing any other pictures.
I seen it, but I don't know who's got it. I got a wedding picture.
Yeah.
Was it Hilda? Or Aunt Ellen?
And they met where? Did Margaret
Did they
say they
meet?
met at Auntie
Where
Saban's
did they
boarding
meet?
house?
Well, they must have met at Aunt Sada because they both stayed there.
Oh,
At the boarding house.
at the boarding house.
She had, she kept order. See, she had a lot of room. It was a big old house down there. I don't know if it still stands or not. But when we lived on Greenwood, Dad used to walk over and feed the horse in that field right next to the house. Yeah. They had a horse there.
Yeah.
Where?
Down where Aunt Stata lived at one time.
Oh,
And Dad lived there. Well, the people that, this was when we lived on Greenwood. I used to go with him down there and feed the horse with lump sugar.
yeah.
He got the biggest stakes in that horse. Well, he didn't have very big stakes, but he was there all the time.
Well, we'll have to start about having the children in the cat. We'll have to start telling them about the children that they had, all of us kids, and the cat that has made its rounds over the years.
Okay, you want me to do it?
No, I don't
How
think
it
that.
started. Who had it first? Adina?
No,
No,
Auntie Hilda.
Aunt Hilda got it from,
Outer.
Talk into,
here.
talk into,
Can you
talk
hear?
into that thing.
Okay. Aunt Hilda worked for the Petridge family as a maid. I don't know if it was upstairs or downstairs, but they were pretty wealthy. They had a brewery. And,
Down by the river.
yeah, down by the river. And
Still there.
I don't know who she got this little crocheted cap from, but her daughter, Tara, wore it first. And then when, of course, they were mom's sister, Hilda, she gave it to my mother when Margaret was born. And so she could wear it home from the hospital. And
She
everyone
didn't go to the hospital.
well, wore it when she was born anyway, right after she was born.
Louder.
They're all
So,
born at home
we
except
all-
Carl. We were all born at home except you.
Midway.
Me,
Judy,
Amanda,
Carl was the only one of us that was born in the hospital.
All the rest of us were born at home.
With midwives.
Yeah, right.
But born in the hospital. And we were all
I was worth it.
by a
Midwife,
midwife.
yeah.
Mrs. Lilligren.
Yeah, I remember that name.
well, anyway, every baby, 56 babies have worn the cap home from the hospital. 55, you got another one, is that 55, Marge?
Well, Marge,
55, she's
Marge
got the
didn't
count.
have it, one of her daughter-in-laws. Marge didn't have the baby.
Not 55.
You want to
You said she
No, I
had the
said
baby.
to Marge, I asked her what number. Anyway, even some of the babies, if they had a great big head, if they were weighed like 9 pounds and 2 ounces or whatever, they'd wear it on the back of their head.
11
And
pounds.
the nurses in the hospital, oh, what a cute idea. Isn't that a nice idea, you know, to have that? And we have all done it. Even the young ones out of town, they've been all over, I guess, all over. I don't know how many different islands and different states, and they've all worn them.
4 generations.
4 generations
Yeah.
have worn the cap.
That's the self-same cap.
And that's right, the same one, but sometimes it has to be mended each time because it's so old. And it has that little tiny silk lining in it. I don't know, that'll be given out pretty soon.
We used to live upstairs from Duckstrom's when they lived on 15th Avenue. The 3 of us, John and Dorothy and I, all had whooping cough at the same time.
That's all I can
She
think
had
of
us in
about
one of
the
the
cat.
big bedrooms. When one started whooping,
I got
the rest of
something
us came.
Mm.
Imagine that, 3 of us were whooping cough at one time.
I know we had pink eye too. We had to stay in the front room, in the parlor, you know, with that dark curtain over, and we couldn't go out in the light.
Yeah.
Didn't we all have it? Pink eye.
I don't remember
We
that.
all had pink eye.
Yeah, more or less, I think.
I remember 15th Avenue, we'd sit up, it was upstairs, and we'd sit and look down on 15th Avenue, and there'd be a herd of cattle along the street that was going to a slaughterhouse down the street.
Yeah.
Right on the park.
Remember when we used to sleep out in the front yard?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Remember that?
when it got real hot, yeah. Mom,
I remember we used to almost fight over who was gonna sleep on that back porch and that little copse in the back there.
Yeah, it was either you'd get home early, it was you and Jean, or Margaret and Laverne. You'd fight to see who got home first. So they could lay on that davenport.
Carl, you're
Then
right.
it was Ellen and somebody else.
Yeah, and that reminds me of this funny thing that happened with Ellen. Ellen and I used to kind of double date. This time she had a real good-looking guy, I don't know what his name was.
Hardy?
Max or Mark or something, anyway. I was on the davenport, and I grabbed the davenport real, so I could sit next to him a while. And she was on, and her boyfriend was in the rocker. She was sitting in his lap, and we were talking about books that we read. So I mentioned some of the books I read, and so what did Ellen do? She asked if we had read The Sale of Two Titties.
went to see the movie, it's A Tale of Two Titties. Boy, was I embarrassed.
Oh, was she embarrassed, I tell you.
That was Bill Sterner.
The Sale of Two Titties?
Yeah, The Sale of Two
Tale of
Titties.
Two Titties.
I was embarrassed for her too. I had to tell that one, Ellen.
I can remember staying out late at night and getting locked out. And in the winter time, I'd be throwing snowballs up at the bedroom windows.
Yeah.
And somebody'd come down and open up. Boy, and Dad, coming in kind of late, you know. Geez, he used to get on my case all the time.
Remember the days, huh?
Yeah.
Do you remember when we'd go over across the street and steal rutabagas?
Oh,
You know, out of the
sure.
garden? I think that's what they raised there. I don't think I ever liked it.
Parsnip, used to be, you know, not parsnip, but, what is that?
Horseradish? Horseradishes? Turnips. Turnips.
Turnip, yeah.
Turnips.
That's what John used to get in trouble with Dad. Somebody said that John had been in the turnip patch and taking some turnips, and boy, Dad got mad, you know, and boy, he slapped off with it. He was quick at that, you know, regardless of whether the person that was actually getting punished for it was really deserving of it.
Yeah.
I thought a lot of times. I used to sit back there.
My teeth just ran out.
I used to just about die.
It was pretty rough.
Do you remember, Ellen, that when you and I don't know if we were gonna double date or what, but I went with this fellow from Chicago. I went with this guy from Chicago, and he had acne, so bad, you know, pus marks and everything. And you know, when he came one time he really was broken out that time. And he come all the way to see me, and you know what I did? I just ditched him, went out with another guy, and boy, did Dad get mad.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand even cheek with him with those pock marks on his
Yeah.
face, you know?
Yeah.
Dad, oh, Dad was so mad. Oh, don't ever do that again. Let him come all the way from Chicago.
Yeah.
God. That was, you don't remember that?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're done, huh?
Anybody, I can't think of anything. Can you think of anything else?
And you know, it has to come that far. So if you want it, then this thing is really good, so.
We're done, Barry.
Yeah, I think
I think
we
we're
did
done,
pretty
Judy.
good, I think.
Did you just tell us one thing about your potluck? You were gonna tell us how you got your potluck started.
How it
And
started.
then we'll wrap it up.
No, I was getting together at Christmas to start.
No, talk there, loud.
I was getting together at Christmas, keeping the family together at Christmas at Dad's house, you know, because he was home at that time alone. And then somehow or other we got started playing cards, and a group of us, but there was usually 3 tables. We played 500. Well, then that broke up, so then we decided that as a family to keep potluck. But Alan was never with us at that time.
No, I was gone
And
all
that's
the time.
how we happened, just for the purpose of being together and keeping the family together.
Once a month.
Once a month, whatever. Yeah, we tried to make it once a month, sometimes it would run over. And during the summer, it was vacation and different things like that that I kind of, you know, we missed a month in between there.
And that started 40 years ago.
And we're still doing it. How many years ago was that?
40 years now.
40 years.
Yeah.
We're still doing it.
Yeah, that's-
I'd say that's pretty good.
Wave goodbye.
Wave goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for the televising.
Yeah, thank you.